Hello, everyone. I'm Araceli Aviles from Dishin Days, and we are live at LA Live at Day of Days 2022. And I'm here with Greg Rikaart and Billy Flynn, also known as Leo Stark and Chad Demira. Welcome, gentlemen. And Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, this is your first Day of Days, correct?
This is my first day of days.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So how does it feel being out into the world and at a real convention now that we're back?
I feel like I've arrived.
Yeah.
Feels great.
Yeah. And Billy, you've experienced this before, but and then we had a taste of it back in March in our Spectrum events. So what does this day mean to you?
It just feels great to feel like we're getting kind of back to some normalcy and get to meet some fans and get to spend the day with
He's
this.
thrilled that we're
wonderful-
doing press together.
Yeah, it's really a dream come true.
You had so much fun this year, and the fans have had so much fun watching you. I have to ask about that wedding. What was your initial reaction when you read that script in its entirety?
Leo and Craig's wedding?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
gosh. The wedding itself was written so funny and fun, and there were some sweet, tender moments too. And I was really happy that I got to play like a moment of vulnerability with Craig, where I sort of pleaded with him with him that I had actually fallen for him, and but also just everything else that was happening. Him coming in with the news that I was married to Darius, and Darius coming in drag, and the veil, and Emily or Gwen and Xander having their wedding. It was such a fun day. And a long day, remember? You know, it was a long day.
I just have so much fun that they feel very quick. I loved it. I enjoyed that I got to foil his plan for once, and working with Darius and Jackie Cox was amazing. I was a fan of the show and him before. So working with her, Jackie Cox, was amazing. Yeah.
And you guys almost had the first threesome on Days history, and then Days went ahead and did a threesome just with different characters. How do you guys feel about the way that the show is really pushing the envelope?
You, me, and Craig. Remember?
Oh yeah. I forgot he came in.
Yeah, you forgot.
How do you feel about how the show is pushing the envelope and really getting into really just the stories that fans want to see that, we're not 50 years ago show?
Yeah, it's fun. And it's funny, and I think it works. I think I was game as soon as I heard what they were doing. I thought it was hilarious, and getting to work with him, I knew it would be funny. But it also the fans got to be on the edge with Chad a bit of how far is this actually going to go? You have Chad, who's this kind of beloved half of this super couple, who's the audience is obviously in on it, but then you have this kind of natural chemistry that Chad and Leo had. And then, you get to wonder, wait a second, how far, where is this actually going to end? And even reading it, I was every time I turned the page, I was like, oh, okay, what's going to happen?
Well, I don't know if you remember this. My experience of getting those scripts, too, were that one episode ended with the two of us in bed about to kiss.
Yeah.
And we didn't get the next script for another day or two. And
Yeah.
I was and I remember being what's going to happen? Having an audience type reaction to what was going to be next. And I thought it was so clever the way Leah was oh, I was one step ahead of you the whole time.
Yeah.
And let's just have a three-way. Yeah, it's fun pushing the envelope and, again, telling stories that are being reflected in other shows and more of a sign of the times. And, yeah, it was fun.
Is there a lot of other shows where two gay friends ask their straight best friend to have a pretend threesome?
It wasn't supposed to be pretend. But yeah, I'm certain there's been other three-ways on TV.
Yeah, no, that's a different conversation. Well, I was about to go through my, TV Rolodex, but that's a different conversation. I have a TV Rolodex in my head. So how do you? That all being said, I know you're professionals, but how do you really keep from cracking up with when you're working with each other?
I mean, I don't think I did.
Well, I mean, you can certainly play some of the laughter and some of that.
I think
and
the
you
rehearsals
absolutely did
where the laughing came out, and then at tape
we keep it together, and then I don't know if
there was one line,
which one?
the bend over line, that I think we both kept cracking up. What was your line on that? Something where you tell me to turn around.
I'm like, turn around,
and then
you do. Oh yeah, and it was that you were so demure in your turn.
But then you tell me to bend over, and I just remember.
And you did, and then I just remembered. I don't know if I even had a line or it was just a reaction.
Yeah. Anyway.
But I always find too that when we work together, we'll keep it together, usually, and then camera stops rolling, and then we both crack up. Yeah. So it's almost it becomes a fun challenge, a game. Keep it together, and then you'll get to laugh. You just have to wait a minute.
Also, kind of a contest of who's gonna break. So it becomes I'm not gonna break because I'm not gonna let him make me break. And then afterwards, we both do. Yeah.
So,
by the way, to your point before about I think you said that we do have this fun chemistry. It's because that's going on in the back. There's humor and amusement that's happening. I think behind our eyes while the scene is happening. So
yeah. I mean, you also have to be open to it. I mean, I as Billy find it even from the first scene we had, you should have chemistry with everybody. I won't shy away from that. I think really since the Drag Queen stuff, I think they knew that. So I think it was purposeful in how they put me into different storylines. But my intent was I'm gonna make Leo love me. For the first line, when he says something, I remember, what's your name? What's your name, sexy, or some blue eyes? And I remember in my head going which was opposite to how it was written, was I'm gonna be thrilled by the compliment. I'm gonna be Chad. You know?
You remember when you were behind me and I was I think Sonny was saying something disparaging about Leo, and he's it, blah, blah, and I go, it has a name, it's Leo, and then I turn back, I go, it has a name, and then I turn to you, I go, it's Leo.
Yeah, and I was Chad just likes affection.
Yeah. Also, come on, people like when other people like them.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have officially moved to streaming. We are being hosted by Peacock today. What's the biggest difference that you've noticed with the move?
I mean, a couple, but one that stands out is just how well they take care of us. They're excited about being a part of about the new collaboration, and they're incredibly encouraging. It feels like we're a part of a really welcoming family. It feels new, even though it's still a part of. But I think there's a lot of new faces, and yeah, it just feels like a lot of love.
There's for sure a palpable investment in the show that feels good, and it feels like we are going to be a part of this next chapter of television as it sort of evolves from what it was to what it's become.
Yeah, and also really, it feels like they're really good at encouraging us to push the boundaries in our storylines, and I imagine that for the writers, that's must feel really nice.
Yeah, to have that creative freedom. Yeah, less standards and practices.
Well, here at Dishin Days, we like to do games with our cast members. So we're going to do a little game I have invented that is the Kiss, Marry, Kill Thanksgiving edition, called Carve, Roast, or Mash. I will give you character options, and you will say if you would carve, roast, or mash them. Okay. Let's see. For both of you. Steve, Kayla, and Orpheus.
Well, I'm confused with what I thought we were doing foods.
No, we're gonna. Okay, I got it. Watch. We're gonna carve Orpheus. We're gonna roast Kayla and mash Steve.
Is mash like the kiss?
Mash is
Whatever you think it should be.
Okay. I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll carve. I'll roast Orpheus.
It's not Jeopardy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. This is important. This is gonna go down in history. I'll roast Orpheus. I'm gonna mash Kayla. And I'm gonna carve me some piece of that Steve.
You're getting a wrap up.
Yeah. This is a game you never thought you'd play, right? All right. I am Araceli, live from Day of Days. Thank you so much, Billy and Greg,
Thank
for
you.
being here,
Thanks
and
for
have a good
having
rest.
us.
Yes, have a good rest of the day.
You too.
All right.
Bye.